everyone, and welcome back to another storytime video. Today, I am going to retell a story that I told almost 5 years ago to the day. Now, this is April 2nd, and I told this story April 1st, 2016. So, I think this was only the third story time I made. Now I'm up to 118. So I think that it's cool that I decided to retell this story 5 years later. Now, that I'm not telling this story particularly because it's been 5 years later since I told the story originally, but it's because I study IT management in college, and we've been going over anti-malware over the last couple of weeks, so I thought that this was a very fitting story to talk about today. So, as Norton and Mcafee are both anti-malware, somebody's gonna be like, well, actually, they're antiviruses. It's like, I would reply with the same, well, actually, a virus is a type of malware. So, really, neither one would be wrong, but I consider it more of anti-malware because malware also consists of Trojans and botnets and of course viruses. You have, I think I said Trojans, yeah. And there are a few others I can't really think of off the top of my head, but those are considered anti-malware. Now, I'm going to finally get into the story after 3 minutes of just talking. Well, that's what story times are, but after 3 minutes of not getting to any sort of point, I'm going to get to a point now. So, my friend's grandmother had an old computer. Now, this was several years ago. This was several years ago when I told the story the first time 5 years ago. So, this is even longer ago. But regardless, my friend's grandmother had both Norton and Avast, I think. Or no. Norton and Mcafee. Whenever I think of Mcafee, for some reason I want to think of Avast. But anyway, so my friend's grandmother had both Norton and Mcafee installed on her computer. Now, for non-tech people out there, that is a huge deal because, as I mentioned it the first time I told this story, when you have two antiviruses or two anti-malwares installed on the same system, like a computer or phone or whatnot, they will think each other are malware, and they will try to destroy each other. So, in essence, it makes your computer run really slowly because they take up a lot of your RAM trying to destroy each other. Because, like I said, Norton thinks McAfee's anti-malware and vice versa. And this had apparently gone on for years with my friend's grandmother's computer. And ultimately, it almost destroyed a computer. 5 years ago, I said which one won. I think I said that McAfee ultimately won, which I will get to in a second why I'm not surprised about that now as opposed to 5 years ago. But my friend said that one day Norton wasn't there anymore, or maybe McAfee wasn't there anymore. The loser wasn't there anymore, whichever one I said 5 years ago, of course. But so one finally destroyed the other, and I guarantee you my friend's grandmother has a different computer now, because given the time range, I would say that his grandmother's computer would have probably run Windows XP. And so that is the Great War that almost destroyed a computer. So I hope the lesson for everyone today, well, besides one I'm going to tell you after this, is to not have two antiviruses or two anti-malwares on your computer. Now, thinking about it, when it comes to Windows Defender, which is automatically on Windows 10 machines, I think that you can have that and say Norton or McAfee or Vast or another good anti-malware. I was trying to think of names that I've seen in the last week, but yeah, Windows Defender is the default, and then you'll have it. But I think that Windows codes Windows Defender in a way that if you do get a third-party malware, that the third-party malware would not necessarily try to destroy it. I don't know if it even could, if it even wanted to, but at the same time, I do believe that if you have a third-party antivirus that you really trust, that you don't need Windows Defender in the first place, for that matter. So that's just kind of like a little nerdy, I guess, ramble there, if you want to say that. Well, if you want to call it that, but I definitely know a lot more about computers than I did 5 years ago, that's for sure. Now, before I end this video off, I just want to say that in terms of the two anti-malware in the video, or in the video title, because that's the two she had, I think those are the two anti-malware that people know of the most, like the most well-known anti-malware. And oh yeah, worm is another type of malware I couldn't remember earlier. But yeah, so in terms of Norton or McAfee, I would prefer McAfee because Norton does provide protection and McAfee does as well. I don't quite know which one would be better. I would have to do a full-scale apples-to-apples comparison. But the thing is that you can't delete Norton from your computer or your device because it will tie itself to your device and take up a lot of memory in the background. Or RAM, I would have to... Memory or RAM? I think possibly both. But basically, it runs stuff in the background so that whenever you're done with it, you can't delete it. And I think that might have happened with my friend's grandmother, but I'm not completely sure, though. But I know that I would not recommend Norton to anyone after knowing that, because I would assume that if you're using your computer, you'd want it to be as fast as possible. And if you have stuff running in the background that you don't even know about, it can really slow down your computer. So that's why I do not recommend Norton. So I recommend McAfee or Avast or another trusted anti-malware. As opposed to Norton. But yeah, so that'll be $5 for those tech tips. I don't have a Cash App or a PayPal, so I don't know how I could receive those $5. You know what? Let me cut you a little deal. Instead of giving me $5, what you should do instead is, especially if you haven't done it already, go out and do something nice for somebody. Whether it be a favor or whatever, just do one good thing today, especially if you haven't already. For me. And see us, guys. I do believe that will do it for this storytime video. And till next storytime video, I will see you all later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching.